Okay, first task of Let's Build. We just got a ticket. Design basic platformer movement. And if you've never done game design before, this sounds easy, like it's a platformer, just move and jump. But movement is the first thing the player touches. So if movement feels even slightly off, the whole game feels off. The good news, we can design solid platformer movement with 5 steps. No code, no engine arguments, no trust me, it feels good. Just clear targets, rules and formulas. The kind of spec you can hand to an engineer and actually get the results we intended. Let's do it. Step 1. Set the scale, then write the movement contract. Before we pick numbers, we need a common language. First, what is scale? Scale just means, what does 1 unit mean in your game? For platformers, the easiest design scale is tiles. Even if your engine uses meters or units, you can still design in tiles. So for this video, we'll talk in tiles. A simple baseline. Your character is around 2 tiles tall. Platforms and gaps are measured in tiles. You can look at a level and immediately understand distances. Now we create something I always do in production, the movement contract. A movement contract is basically a promise, not a vibe, a measurable promise. It answers, what exactly should movement do? For a basic platformer, we define 5 targets. Target 1, max run speed, Vmax. This is the top horizontal speed on flat ground. Beginner-friendly way to pick it: don't start with a number. Start with a sentence. For example, I want the player to cross 10 tiles in about 1.5 seconds. That's a clear design target. That implies a Vmax around 6 to 7 tiles per second. You don't need perfection. You need a target you can test. Target 2. Time to reach Vmax, decel. This is how quickly the character ramps up to full speed. This is responsiveness. This is snappy versus heavy. Typical feel ranges: snappy, 0.12 to 0.25 seconds. Balanced, 0.25 to 0.40. Heavy, 0.40 to 0.60. For a basic platformer that feels modern, let's pick decel equals 0.25 seconds. Target 3. Stop time, T-stop. This is how quickly the character stops when you release input. This is the slippery versus tight slider. And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons movement feels bad. Typical ranges: tight, 0.08 to 0.18 seconds. Normal, 0.18 to 0.30. Slippery, 0.30 to 0.60. Let's choose T-stop equals 0.18 seconds. Target 4. Jump height, H. Jump height is not jump power. It's simply how many tiles high is a full jump. Beginner baseline, H equals 3 tiles. That's enough to make platforming interesting without feeling floaty. Target 5. Time to apex, T up. Apex means the top of the jump, the highest point. Time to apex is how long it takes to reach that top point. This is important because 2 jumps can be the same height but feel totally different. Same height, faster apex equals punchy, responsive. Same height, slower apex equals floaty, slow. A good baseline, T up equals 0.35 seconds. That's step 1. And if you're new, this alone is already real game design. Because now you're not guessing. You're designing toward measurable outcomes. Now we turn these targets into movement rules. Step 2. Ground movement rules. Acceleration, deceleration, turning. Now we design what happens on the ground. Let's define two words in plain English. Acceleration. Acceleration is how fast you gain speed. If the character feels slow to start moving, acceleration is too low. If the character instantly snaps to top speed, acceleration is high. Deceleration. Deceleration is how fast you lose speed. If the character slides after you let go, deceleration is too low. If the character stops instantly, deceleration is high. Here's the designer trick. We don't guess these values. We derive them from the contract. Ground acceleration. A simple relationship is acceleration approximately Vmax divided by T acceleration cons. So if your Vmax is about 6.7 and T acceleration is 0.25, acceleration is about 6.7 divided by 0.25. That's about 26.8 tiles per second squared. You don't need to love the unit. You just need to understand why this exists. Ground deceleration. Same idea. Deceleration, approximately Vmax divided by T stopped. 6.7 divided by 0.18 is about 37.2. This number is chosen so you stop in about 0.18 seconds. And again, beginners usually underestimate how important this is. A platformer with a decent jump but sloppy stopping will still feel bad. Turning, the part most people forget. Turning is when you're running right and suddenly press left. If you use the same acceleration for turning that you use for starting, the character tends to drift. And players interpret drift as the controls didn't listen. So we add a designer rule. Turning should often be stronger than normal acceleration. We do that with a multiplier. Turn multiplier typical range 1.2 to 1.8. Let's pick 1.5 as a good baseline, meaning when reversing direction, acceleration becomes 1.5 times stronger. That's it. One clean rule. Huge impact. Ground test. The simple lane. Don't test in a real level yet. You'll confuse yourself. Make a flat lane with distance markers. Then test three things. Start test. From standstill, hold right. Does it reach full speed around 0.25 seconds? Stop test. At full speed, release input. Does it stop around 0.18 seconds? Or does it slide? Turn test. Run right, then slam left. Does it feel sharp and intentional, or like drifting? If it drifts, increase the turn multiplier slightly. If it feels too twitchy, lower it slightly. Okay, ground movement done. Now we design the jump. Step 3. Jump arc. Design it with height and timing, not vibes. Most beginners do this. They tweak gravity and jump until it sort of feels okay. In production, that's dangerous. Because sort of okay becomes 3 days of tweaking. Instead, we use the movement contract. We already picked jump height and time to apex. That means we can calculate the jump. Let's define two more simple concepts. Gravity in game design. Gravity is not real-world physics. It's just the downward pull value you choose for playability. Jump velocity. That's the initial upward launch speed at the moment jump starts. Now here are the formulas we use. If you want the jump to reach height h and take t up seconds to reach the top, gravity magnitude. G equals 2h divided by t up squared. Initial jump velocity. V jump equals 2h divided by t up. Now with our baseline. H equals 3 tiles, t up equals 0.35 seconds. You get gravity around 49, jump velocity around 17.1. And here's the important part. This isn't random. This is designed. This jump will hit your target height and timing on purpose. How to change jump feel without breaking everything. If the jump feels too floaty but the height is correct, don't touch height. Change time to apex. If you want it punchier, lower T up like 0.30 and recalc. If you want it floatier, raise T up like 0.40 and recalc. This is the cleanest way to control jump identity. Add one more rule. Terminal velocity, max fall speed. When you fall, speed tends to keep increasing. If you let it run forever, long drops become uncontrollable. So we set a maximum fall speed. Call it max fall speed or terminal velocity. Beginner baseline. Somewhere like 18 to 28 tiles per second, depending on scale. Pick 22 as a starting point. This makes long drops feel consistent and controllable. Okay, jump arc done. Now air control. Step 4. Air control. Correction versus commitment. Air control is basically how much can I steer after I've already jumped. Too much air control feels like flying. Too little feels unfair. So we define air control with 3 parameters. Air max speed, often similar to ground speed. Baseline. Air max speed equals 0.9 to 1.0 of Vmax. Let's keep it simple. Air max speed equals 1.0 Vmax. Air acceleration. Usually lower than ground, so jumping still has commitment. Baseline. Air accel equals 0.5 to 0.8 of ground accel. Ground accel was about 26.8. So a baseline air accel might be around 17. Let's pick. Air accel equals 0.65 of ground, so about 17.4. Air deceleration or drag. This is how quickly you stop accelerating in air when you release input. If you don't define this, air can feel slippery even if ground feels tight. A simple baseline. Air decel roughly near air accel, maybe a bit lower. Pick something like air decel equals 15 as a starting point. Air tests, super practical. In your test room, create a platform that is barely reachable. Then do this. Jump toward it and try to correct mid-air. If you feel helpless, increase air accel slightly. If you can reverse direction instantly and still land perfectly, decrease air accel. Your target is this. You can correct mistakes, but you can't erase commitment. Okay, now we finalize the deliverable. Step 5. Test room. If you're new, here's a key mindset. You don't balance movement inside real gameplay first. You build a movement lab, a tiny test room. What the test room needs: 5 areas. Speed lane. Flat ground with markers. This is where you validate Vmax and acceleration timing. Stop lane. Same lane, but you practice stopping on a marker. This is where you feel slippery versus tight. Gap set. A small gap that requires a short jump. A medium gap that requires a full run plus jump. Stairs. 3 to 6 platforms, each 1 tile higher. This tests repeatability and rhythm. Tall drop. This tests terminal velocity and air control during falling. Now you can tune with clarity. Tightness Pack. The small rules that make movement feel pro. These don't change the core 5 steps. They make the game feel like it's reading the player's mind, in a good way. 1. Coyote Time. A tiny grace window that lets you still jump shortly after leaving a ledge. Because humans are not frame perfect. Typical 0.08 to 0.15 seconds. Start with 0.102. Jump buffer. If you press jump a little before landing, the game stores it and jumps on landing. This kills the "I press jump" complaint. Typical 0.08 to 0.15. Start with 0.103. Variable jump height, tap versus hold. If the player releases jump early while rising, you cut the upward velocity. That creates short hops and full jumps. That's skill expression. Use a parameter like a jump cut multiplier, 0.4 to 0.7. Start with 0.554. Faster falling. Many platformers feel better if falling is faster than rising. It reduces floatiness and improves control. Use a fall multiplier, 1.3 to 2.2. Start with 1.7. That's the full package. Targets, rules, formulas, tests, deliverable spec, plus polish that makes it feel tight. That's episode 1 of Let's Build. If you want weekly, practical, production-style game design like this, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next build. Next episode, we can either build a jump tuning worksheet or we jump to another real studio task. Drop a comment. What should we build next?